Am I the asshole for going home after my in-laws excluded me from dinner at a restaurant? I, 26 female, went on a family trip with my in-laws 2 weeks ago. Mother-in-law always thought that I am a bit ignorant and backward, and that just because I come from lower class family compared to hers that I have no etiquette. After we arrived to the hotel, they arranged to visit a fancy restaurant for dinner. My husband avoided telling me, and I learned it last minute after he had already got dressed. I asked where he was going, and he said he and family were going to eat out. But I wasn't invited because his mom assumed that since I wouldn't be familiar with the food and how to eat it there at the restaurant, then it's better for me to stay and eat at the hotel. I didn't argue, I just let him go. Then I packed and took the first flight home. He freaked out and called many times, and when he found out that I went home, he blew up and called me ridiculous and irrational to do this. Even said that I acted in an ungrateful manner and embarrassed him in front of his family after he literally begged to have me go on the trip. We argue, and he started giving MD silent treatment after he came home. Moreover, his family are indirectly criticizing me on Facebook about what I did. Did I overact? Edit. He didn't even mention what type of food they ordered. Edit 2. The family didn't plan on having me come along, but my husband, like he said, begged them to invite me. This isn't just with me. My Bill's girlfriend wasn't invited as well. Edit 3. They paid for my expenses, so I didn't want to act like I'm being needy or something. Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law that she's not allowed to meet our kids anymore, using a burner account and fake names? My husband and I have 5 female and 8 male children. After a very traumatic birth with my elder one, I decided that I'm not ready to go through that again. But we still wanted more children. So 5 ago we adopted. My mother-in-law cares for our family, but she makes her preference for Malcolm is more than clear. To begin, she was absolutely furious hearing that I would not be having another biological child and was instantly disapproving. After hearing we were going to adopt a child, her anger turned into rage. She screamed about how we didn't know the parentage of the child and might end up bringing in someone who would disgrace her lineage. My husband was able to calm her down. Thankfully, when she saw little Julia, it seemed like this was all behind us. Yesterday, mother-in-law decided to visit us. My husband was away on a trip, so she was just helping around. I was absolutely exhausted, so I asked if I could go down for a nap, and she was more than agreeing. After a few hours, she woke me up and informed me that she was about to leave. All was good. I was cooking in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, I hear a loud bang proceeded with a crying Julia. When I rush into the hall, I see Malcolm towering over her. "You're not real. All of this is mine," he started screaming, which was incredibly confusing to say the least. After calming them down, I asked Malcolm what he meant. He then revealed that Grandma Muriel had told him that he was mommy and daddy's real son. This made me incredibly mad. I asked him what else Grandma had told him, and he told me all about how she had been telling him that Julia wasn't really his sister and how he should be extra attention for being extra special, how he's always going to be Grandma's favorite grandson, and so much more. Blinded with rage, I blocked Muriel on everything after sending her a text detailing her actions and how this was absolutely unacceptable and how she'd never be seeing her grandkids until they're much older and understand the situation, so they wouldn't be swayed by her words. I probably overreacted, to be fair. She is quite an old lady. After he returned, we got into quite the argument. To say the least, my husband disagreed. He adores his mother and told me that stopping her from seeing the kids is inhumane. She's simply old-fashioned and she didn't know her words would bring this big of an impact or some such. We will be having a civil discussion about this later. Edit. I'm sorry I didn't clarify this earlier, but both Julie and Malcolm note that she is adopted. I've had the conversation with both the children, although I have had it separately with the both of them. I think I might have to have this conversation once again and make sure Julia knows that it doesn't matter whether she's adopted or not. Am I the asshole for my response to my mother-in-law? My husband and I have been married for 5 years and we just recently had our second baby. My mother-in-law has been staying with us due to an upcoming surgery. She has been such an amazing help and I'm forever grateful for her presence. I'm 4 weeks postpartum, second C-section delivery. At 3 weeks postpartum, I suffered an infection due to an opening on my incision line, so it's been tough managing the pain, infection, sleepless nights with baby, etc. My mother-in-law had surgery few days ago and has been quite unwell since having surgery. My husband works full-time as well, so I've had to resume daily household tasks before fully healing and the recommended 6 weeks. This morning mother-in-law insisted on resting after breakfast, so she went to her room. Popped my 4-year-old for a nap after lunch, followed by my newborn. Once they fell asleep, I too had a quick nap. Usually she comes out for meals when she's ready, so I left food ready for her, but to my surprise, when I woke up she hadn't ate. We had a chat and she said she wasn't feeling up to it and will eat later. I quickly started fixing dinner then. I went to get her to come meet, considering she had skipped lunch. With all attempts, she insisted that she will come out, but didn't. Please bear in mind, I've got a newborn that I haven't fed, a 4-year-old that needs to eat, shower before bed, and myself to all this while groaning in pain, so I couldn't possibly continue to stand at her door pleading for her to join us, especially knowing she usually comes. Fast forward about an hour later, my husband comes back from work. Looking upset, he asks about his mom not eating. I responded by telling him not to start anything and that I've had a long day. He then proceeded to say that I didn't get her out to come eat because she's not my responsibility. This statement got me upset immediately because it's not the first time he says things like that, and upsetting knowing deep down I don't have anything against his mother. Also, while his mother has been unwell and he's at work, I've been the one to check in regularly to make sure she's taking her meds, make her a cup of tea, serve her food, and do whatever is needed despite being unwell myself and recovering from surgery too. Now here is where I may be the asshole. His mother apologized for not honoring my request to come join us at the table. I responded to her that I'm fine and don't have a problem with that, but what he said to me is what hurt me. I added that he shouldn't say things like that and should be more kind with his words. He then got angry, called me disrespectful, and threw F-bombs right there with our 4-year-old present. He continuously called me disrespectful for speaking that way in front of his mom, and while they were eating, which I understand, but in my defense, I was responding to her and I felt the need to do so by expressing exactly how I feel. Am I the asshole for telling my in-laws the truth about my stepdaughter's mother's success? My fiancé had his daughter, my stepdaughter, unexpectedly shortly before we met. Despite being a month apart, he and his daughter's mother could not have more different financial situations. On paper, she is wildly successful. Graduated college with no student loans, stable career, owns her own house outright in a great area, and even has ample money in savings. My fiancé, on the other hand, is buried in student debt, and there's no way we'll ever own a home. My in-laws hate the situation with his daughter. They hate that we live so far away, but more than that, they're embarrassed that we aren't anywhere near as established as her mother is when we're the same age. We're currently stuck where we are, so we can't have that much custody right now, and they understand that. They never fail to bring up how much more stable her mother is, and always have snide comments about everything she's doing that we couldn't even dream of helping with. The truth about her is that she's only financially stable because she's a fucking thief. She stole her parents' estate, using a loophole to contest the will even though she knew they wanted her to get nothing, and then proceeded to sell their house for $400K more than it was worth by straight up committing fraud. The poor family that bought the house even tried to sue her but lost due to technicalities. I'm sorry if I'm not willing to sympathize with and praise a woman that used her bad childhood to justify becoming a monster. Okay, fine. She broke generational cycles and only had a child once she was stable, but she only got there by lying, cheating, and stealing until she took absolutely everything she felt she deserved, no matter what it took or who she had to hurt. Yes, she did have a terrible childhood, but she's not a good person now. My fiancé only wants to keep the peace with his parents, so he never says anything, but I'm tired of them making it seem like he's a deadbeat just because he doesn't have as much money as Ms. Bernadette Madoff. When they came to visit a month ago, I printed out all of the court records and laid them out on the table so they would finally have to face the truth. Now they're mad at me for being petty and jealous, and my fiancé is mad because it got him uninvited for Christmas. Am I the asshole? I just wanted them to lose their rose-colored glasses about her. Please leave your comments down below to any of today's stories. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.